The blood on my dress wasn't mine. I stood in the powder room of the Corinthian hotel, staring at the mirror like it might offer me a different reflection. Red satin, vintage hemline, now ruined with arterial spray that I'd mistaken for champagne in the chaos. The gala had been perfect until the gunshot. I'd been dancing with Marco Calvetti, charming, easy, effortlessly magnetic. He'd asked me 3 times throughout the evening, and I'd finally said yes to the 4th. The orchestra played something Viennese. His hand had been warm on my waist. Then the chandelier shattered, not from the bullet. From the man who fell against the table beneath it. I'd felt Marco's body go rigid. He'd shoved me sideways, not roughly, but with absolute certainty, and I'd stumbled into a marble column as chaos erupted. Women screaming. Men drawing weapons I hadn't known they carried. The orchestra cutting off mid-phrase. I'd run. Pure instinct. Through the ballroom past security who were converging on the scene, into this bathroom with its gold fixtures and roses that smelled like funeral homes. The door opened behind me. I spun, heart hammering. A man filled the doorway. Not Marco. Taller, broader, wearing a black suit that looked like it cost more than my annual salary, with a face that could have been carved from marble, all sharp angles and brutal beauty. Dark hair swept back. Eyes so deep brown they were nearly black, and a gun in his hand, out. His voice was low, controlled, absolute. I pressed back against the sink. I didn't see anything, I know. He stepped inside, closing the door behind him with a soft click that sounded like a cell locking. If you had, you'd already be dead. My throat closed. The blood on my dress suddenly felt hot. He moved past me to the window, a small stained glass thing that probably didn't open, and pulled out his phone. I watched his reflection in the mirror. The gun had disappeared into his jacket, but I could still feel its presence like a weight in the air. Marco, he said into the phone. His jaw was tight. Where are you? I couldn't hear the response, but I saw his expression shift. Something dangerous flickered behind his eyes. She's with me. A pause. The powder room, East Wing. Another pause. Longer this time. I don't give a fuck what Dante says. Get here now. He ended the call. Silence stretched between us like piano wire. You're his brother, I said. The words came out steadier than I felt. His eyes cut to me in the mirror. What makes you say that? You have the same mouth. I don't know why I said it. Shock maybe. Or the strange intimacy of being trapped in a bathroom with a man who'd just implied he kills people. But his is easier. Yours looks like it's nefted in his face. Not quite amusement. Something darker. Luca Calvetti. He turned to face me fully. And you're right, I don't smile. Sophia. My voice sounded far away. Sophia Reyes. I know who you are. That should have frightened me more. Instead, I felt something else. Something I couldn't name. The man who was shot is being handled. Is he dead? Does it matter? Luca moved closer. Not threatening exactly, but deliberate. Like a predator deciding whether to circle or strike. You shouldn't have been here tonight. I was invited. Be my brother. His tone made it sound like an accusation. Did he tell you what kind of party this was? I thought about Marco's easy smile. The way he'd laughed when I'd asked if the gala was for charity. The best kind, he'd said. The kind that helps family. No, I whispered. Luca's expression was unreadable. He wouldn't. The door burst open. Marco appeared, slightly disheveled, a smear of something dark on his collar. His eyes went straight to me. Sophia, thank God. He reached for my hand, but Luca's arm shot out, blocking him. Don't. She's terrified, Luca. Let me. She's covered in Dante's blood. Luca's voice was deadly quiet. And you brought her here without telling her what she was walking into. Marco's jaw tightened. I never do. Luca looked at me. Can you walk? I nodded, though I wasn't sure. Then walk. Out the service entrance. Marco will take you home. You'll forget everything you saw tonight. And if I don't? The question surprised me as much as it seemed to surprise them both. Marco looked alarmed. Luca's eyes narrowed. Then you're stupider than you look. He stepped aside, creating a path to the door. I should have. Every survival instinct I had screamed at me to run, but I stayed, just for a moment. Long enough to meet Luca Calvetti's dark eyes and see something flicker there. Something that looked almost like recognition. Wrong brother, Sophia, he said softly. You're dancing with the wrong brother. Then he turned away, pulling out his phone again, already moving on to whatever crisis required his attention next. Marco's hand closed gently on my elbow. Come on, I'll explain everything. I let him guide me out, through dim corridors that smelled like old money and older secrets. Past men in expensive suits who watched us with faces that gave away nothing. Into an elevator that descended in suffocating silence. But I couldn't stop thinking about Luca's words. Wrong brother. As if he knew. As if he could see something I couldn't. As if dancing with Marco had been a mistake I was only beginning to understand. Marco's car was a sleek black thing that probably cost more than my apartment. He drove in silence for the first 10 minutes, his jaw working like he was chewing words he couldn't quite swallow. I watched the city blur past. Rain had started. Of course it had, streaking the windows with light from street lamps and neon signs. My dress was ruined. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. I'm sorry. His voice finally broke the quiet. Sophia, I'm so sorry. Who was he? I didn't look at him. The man who was shot. Dante Marconi he was. Marco exhaled slowly. A business associate. Off your family's. Less. What kind of business? He glanced at me, then back at the road. The kind you don't ask questions about. I laughed. It came out sharp and bitter. I have blood on my dress, Marco. I think I've earned some answers. You have. You're right. He pulled over suddenly, the car gliding to a stop beneath an overpass. Rain drummed on the roof. My family owns legitimate businesses, import, export, real estate, restaurants, but we handle other things, security, protection, mediation between parties who can't use traditional legal channels. You're in the Mafia? That's not a word we use, but it's true. He was quiet for a long moment. Yes. I should have opened the door, walked away, called the police, though I suspected that would be worse than useless. Instead, I asked, and tonight, a negotiation went wrong. Danny thought he could double-cross the Rossi family. He was wrong. Marco turned to face me fully. I brought you because I wanted you there. Because I've been trying to get you to notice me for 6 months, and I thought one night at a beautiful party wouldn't hurt. You thought I wouldn't notice the guns. I thought I could keep you away from them. Your brother noticed me. Something changed in Marco's expression. Luca notices everything. He said I was dancing with the wrong brother. He had no right. Marco cut himself off, running a hand through his hair. Luca is complicated. He seems straightforward to me. Dangerous, but straightforward. He's the head of the family. Has been since our father died 5 years ago. He's brilliant, ruthless, and he doesn't let anyone close. Marco's eyes searched my face. I'm the one who smiles, who goes to parties, who pretends we're normal. Are you? No. The word was soft. Honest. I looked at my hands, still shaking. Take me home, Marco. Sophia. Please. He did. We drove in silence through rain-soaked streets until we reached my building. A walk up in a neighborhood that probably made him nervous. He parked but didn't kill the engine. I'll have someone pick up your dress tomorrow. Get it cleaned. Don't bother. I never want to see it again. Then I'll replace it. I finally looked at him. Really looked. Marco Calvetti was handsome in an obvious way. Warm brown eyes. Easy smile. The kind of man who made you feel safe even when you shouldn't. But I kept seeing his brother. Those dark, unreadable eyes. That controlled violence. Wrong brother. Good night, Marco. I was out of the car before he could respond. My apartment was small, familiar, safe. I stripped off the dress in the bathroom, stuffed it in a trash bag, then stood under scalding water until my skin turned red. But I couldn't wash away the feeling that Luca had seen something, known something, that everything had changed the moment his eyes met mine in that mirror. I wrapped myself in a robe and made tea I didn't drink. Sat by the window watching rain paint the glass. Tried to convince myself I'd never see either Calvetti brother again. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I stared at it for 3 rings before answering. Sophia Reyes. Not a question, Luca's voice, low and certain. How did you get this number? I get every number I want. A pause. You're not sleeping. How would you know? Because I'm not either. I pulled the robe tighter, suddenly aware I was alone. What do you want? To know if my brother told you the truth. About what you are. Yes. And you're still alive, so you're either very smart or very stupid. I heard something in the background. Ice in a glass maybe. Which is it, Sophia? I haven't decided yet. A sound that might have been a laugh. Or just breath. Good, keep it that way. Your brother said you're the head of the family. He talks too much. He cares about you. That's his problem. Another pause. Rain filled the silence between us. Stay away from him. Excuse me, Marco. Stay away from him. He thinks he can have a normal life. A normal girl. He's wrong. Anger flared hot in my chest. I'm not anyone's girl. No. His voice dropped lower. Quieter. You're not? Then why are you calling me? Silence. Long enough that I thought he'd hung up. Then, because you're not afraid. I am afraid. You're still talking to me. He was right. I should have ended the call. Blocked the number. But my hand stayed frozen on the phone. What happened tonight? I said carefully. The man who died. Will there be consequences? Always. For you? For everyone. I heard him move. Footsteps on what sounded like marble. But especially for people who get too close to my family. As that, it's a fact. His voice changed. Hardened. My brother will call you tomorrow. He'll apologize again. Try to see you, you'll say no. You don't give me orders. I give everyone orders, it's what I do. A pause. But you'll say no because you're smart enough to know what happens to people in our world. What happened to Dante? What could happen to you? My heart was racing. And if I don't? The silence that followed felt dangerous. Charged. Then you're exactly as stupid as you are brave, Luca said quietly. And I'll have to decide what to do about that. The line went dead. I sat there for a long time, phone in hand, rain against the window, trying to understand why my pulse was racing. Why I felt more alive after that conversation than I had in months. Why Luca Calvetti's voice in the dark felt like a promise and a threat wrapped together. Wrong brother. Maybe he was right. Maybe I'd been dancing with the wrong man all along. Marco didn't call the next day. Or the day after. I told myself I was relieved. Went to work at the translation agency where I turned Spanish legal documents into English, and tried not to think about blood or brothers or dark eyes that saw too much. But on the 3rd day a package arrived. No return address. Just my name and elegant script on heavy cream paper. Inside a first edition of Cienayos de Soledad, my favorite book, inscribed on the title page in black ink for the girl who isn't afraid. I ran my fingers over the inscription. My hands were shaking again. How did he know? I pulled out my phone before I could talk myself out of it. The unknown number from 3 nights ago. How did you know about the book? The response came immediately. I know everything about you, Sophia. Where you work, where you studied. That you read Garcia Marquez on the subway every morning. That you take your coffee black. That you're wearing a blue dress today. I looked down. Blue cotton. Nothing special. Then I walked to my office window. Looked down at the street 4 floors below. A black car was parked across the street. Sleek, expensive. Tinted windows. My phone buzzed. Wave. I should have been terrified. Instead, I felt something else. Something dangerous and electric that made my skin feel too tight. I raised my hand. A small wave. The car door opened. Luca stepped out. He was wearing all black again. Looked up at my window with those dark, unreadable eyes. Even from 4 floors up, I felt the weight of his gaze. My phone buzzed. Come down. Why? Because you want to. I did. God help me, I did. I met him on the sidewalk. Rain threatened but hadn't started yet. The air smelled like ozone and exhaust. You're stalking me, I said. I'm protecting you. From what? Me. He handed me a coffee. Black, like he'd said. And my brother. And everyone else who'll notice you now that you've been seen with us. I took the coffee. Our fingers didn't touch, but I felt the near miss like static. I can take care of myself. Can you? He tilted his head slightly. Someone broke into your apartment last night, went through your things, took nothing, just... Look, my blood went cold. How do you? Because I'm the one who sent them. I stepped back. Coffee sloshed over the rim, burning my hand. You what? I needed to know if you were a threat. His expression didn't change. Calm, controlled, utterly ruthless. If you talked to anyone, gone to the police, kept anything from the gala, you broke into my home. I had someone break into your home. I was busy. He took a sip from his own cup. You passed. No police reports. No calls to journalists. You threw away the dress and went back to translating contracts about agricultural exports. Get away from me. I turned to walk back inside, but his hand closed around my wrist. Not hard, just enough to stop me. I'm not here to hurt you, Sophia. You violated my privacy. I violated your locks. Your privacy stays intact. His thumb pressed against my pulse point. I wondered if he could feel how fast my heart was racing. Unless you want to tell me what you were thinking about at 3 a.m. when you stood at your window staring at nothing. I jerked my hand away. How long have you been watching me? Since the moment you walked into that gala. He said it like it was obvious. Simple. Since I saw you laugh at something Marco said and realized my brother had finally found something worth destroying himself over. I barely know him. Doesn't matter, he's already half in love with you, and love makes men stupid, gets them killed. Luca's jaw tightened, gets everyone around them killed too. So you're here to scare me away. I'm here to give you a choice. He stepped closer, not touching, but close enough that I had to tilt my head back to meet his eyes. Walk away now. Forget the Calvetti family exists. I'll make sure you're protected. That what happened at the gala doesn't follow you. Or you stay. See where this goes with Marco. Accept that you'll be watched. Followed that every moment of your life will be scrutinized by people who solve problems with violence. His voice dropped lower. That you'll become a liability, a target, a weakness we can't afford. And you. The question came out before I could stop it. What do you want? Something flickered in his eyes. They're gone so fast I almost missed it. I want you to run, Sophia. Fast and far. He pulled back, creating distance that felt wrong. Because if you stay, I'll have to decide whether you're worth protecting or eliminating. You wouldn't. I've killed for less. Matter of fact. Like he was discussing the weather. I've buried bodies for looking at me wrong, for asking the wrong questions, for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. He paused. But I've never wanted someone to run before. Not like this. The admission hung between us, raw, dangerous. Why me? I whispered. He was quiet for a long moment. Rain started then, light tentative drops that darkened the sidewalk. Because you remind me of something I used to be. Before. He turned to leave, then stopped. The book. I saw you reading it 6 months ago. On the subway. You were crying at the ending. You've been watching me for 6 months. No. He looked back at me. I've been trying not to for 6 months. Then he was in the car. Gone. Leaving me standing in the rain with cooling coffee and a first edition book and the terrible certainty that everything had just changed. That night, I opened Cien Años de Soledad to a random page. Found a pressed flower tucked between pages 247 and 248. A white rose. Long dead but perfectly preserved. My phone buzzed. Marco, this time can I see you? I know I have no right to ask, but please. I stared at the message. Thought about easy smiles and warm eyes and the kind of normal I'd always wanted. Then I looked at the rose. At Luca's inscription, for the girl who isn't afraid. I typed back to Marco, tomorrow. Coffee. Public place. His response was immediate. Thank you. But as I set the phone down, I wondered which brother I was really saying yes to, and whether I'd already made a choice I didn't fully understand. The cafe Marco chose was in a neighborhood I didn't recognize. Old brick buildings. Cobblestone streets wet with yesterday's rain. The kind of place where everyone seemed to know each other, and strangers stood out like blood on snow. He was waiting at a corner table when I arrived. Stood when he saw me. That easy smile slightly dim but still there. You came. I said I would. He pulled out my chair. Ordered us both coffee without asking what I wanted. The waitress, an older woman with kind eyes and suspicious posture, brought it with biscotti neither of us would eat. This is your neighborhood, I said. My family's. We've owned these blocks for 3 generations. He gestured vaguely toward the windows, the bakery, the pharmacy, half the apartments. People here are loyal or owned. Is there a difference? He said it without irony. We take care of our own, Sophia. It's not what you think. I don't know what I think anymore. Marco reached across the table, stopped just short of touching my hand. Luca talked to you. It wasn't a question. He warned me, told me to run. That sounds like him. Something crossed Marco's face. Not quite pain. He's trying to protect you, in his way. Be threatening me? Be being honest. That's as close to kindness as Luca gets. Marco leaned back. Wasn't always like this. Before our father died, he was different. He smiled, laughed. Then everything changed. And he became what the family needed. Cold, calculating, willing to do the things the rest of us can't stomach. I thought about Luca's dark eyes. The way he'd admitted to killing people like he was reciting a grocery list. He scares me. I said quietly. Good. He should. Marco's expression softened. But I don't want to talk about my brother. I want to talk about us. About whether there can be an us. Can there? I want there to be. I want to take you to dinner. Real dinner, not a mob gala. I want to know everything about you. What makes you laugh? What he finally took my hand. His touch was warm. Safe. I want to be normal with you, Sophia. Just Marco and Sophia. No family business. No violence. Your brother says that's impossible. Luca thinks everything is impossible. That's why he's alone. Marco squeezed my hand gently. I'm not asking you to join the family. I'm asking if you'll let me try to be something separate from it. Someone separate. I wanted to believe him. Wanted to believe that the violence could be compartmentalized. That I could have coffee dates and normal conversations with a man whose family solved problems with bullets. I need time, I said. Take all you need. I'll wait. We talked for another hour. Careful conversation that skirted around blood and guns and breaking and entering. He told me about growing up with 3 brothers, Luca himself, and 2 younger ones I hadn't met. About his mother who died when he was 12. About wanting to be a teacher before his father's death made that impossible. I told him safe things. My work. My apartment. The memoir I'd been translating for 6 months about a woman who'd survived the Spanish Civil War. Normal things. Almost. I left feeling like I'd been holding my breath the entire time. The rain had started again. I stood under the cafe awning, trying to decide if I should call a cab or brave the subway when a black car pulled up. Not Marco's. Luca's. The window rolled down. He lit me with those dark, unreadable eyes. Get in. No. Get in, Sophia. Now. His tone left no room for argument. You were at my stomach dropped. What? Look across the street. Blue sedan. 2 men. They've been watching the cafe since you arrived. I looked. Saw the car. Couldn't make out faces through the tinted windows, but I felt their attention like a physical weight. Who? Get. I did. The car was warm. Smelled like leather and something expensive. Cologne maybe. Or just money. Luca didn't look at me. Just pulled smoothly into traffic. The Rossi family, he said. They know you were at the gala. That you saw Dan get shot. I didn't see anything. They don't know that. And they don't take chances. He turned down a narrow street. The blue sedan followed. Marco brought you into this world without protection. Without clearance. Now you're a loose end. You let me handle it. How? He was quiet for a moment. Rain drummed on the roof. By making it clear you're mine. The words hung in the air. Heavy. Dangerous. I'm not. Not literally. But as far as the Rossi family knows, you're under my protection. Untouchable. He glanced at me briefly. It's the only thing that'll keep you alive. And Marco? Marco doesn't have the authority. I do. Luca's jaw tightened. He brought you in. I'm getting you out. I thought you wanted me to run. I did. But you chose to have coffee with my brother instead. So now we do this my way. The blue sedan was still behind us. Luca made a series of turns, quick, efficient, like he'd planned the route beforehand. We ended up in front of a building I recognized. My apartment. Pack a bag, he said. Enough for a week. Excuse me, you can't stay here. They know where you live. They'll use it. He finally looked at me fully. You're coming with me until this is resolved. I have a job. A life. Which won't matter if you're dead. His tone was flat. Final. Pack now or I'll have my men do it for you. I should have argued. Should have called the police, useless or not. Should have done anything except what I did, which was obey. I packed in a daze. Clothes, toiletries. The first edition Garcia Marquez because I couldn't leave it behind. When I came back down, Luca was leaning against the car, phone to his ear, having a conversation in rapid Italian that sounded violent even though I didn't understand the words. He ended the call when he saw me, took my bag without asking and put it in the trunk. Where are we going? I asked. Somewhere safe. That's not an answer. He opened the passenger door. It's the only one you're getting. As we pulled away, I looked back at my building, saw the blue sedan still parked across the street, saw 2 men standing beside it, watching us leave, and understood that my normal life, whatever remained of it, had just ended. Luca's, somewhere safe, turned out to be a penthouse in a building that probably required background checks just to walk past, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Modern furniture in blacks and grays, art that looked expensive in the way only genuinely expensive art does, understated, brutal, beautiful, no personal touches, no photographs, nothing that suggested anyone actually lived here. Guest room is down the hall, Luca said, setting my bag by the door. Bathroom attached. Don't leave without telling me. Am I a prisoner? You're protected. There's a difference. As there. He looked at me then. Really looked. You wanted to be with Marco. This is what that means. Guards, safe houses, constant surveillance. Welcome to the family. I'm not with Marco. No. He moved to the bar because of course there was a bar and poured himself something amber. Didn't offer me any. Then what was today? Coffee. That looked like more than coffee. You were watching. Always. He took a drink. He held your hand. You let him. That's a choice, Sophia. It was just a hand. Nothing is just anything in this world. Lucas set down his glass. My brother wants you. The Rossi family wants you dead. And I'm stuck in the middle trying to keep everyone alive. I didn't ask for this. No one ever does. He was quiet for a moment. Make yourself comfortable. I have calls to make. Don't touch anything expensive. He disappeared into what I assumed was his office, closing the door with a soft click that felt final. I stood in the middle of his living room, feeling unmoored. Outside, the city glittered. Rain had stopped, leaving everything wet and reflecting neon. My phone buzzed. Marco, where are you? I went by your apartment. You weren't there. I stared at the message. Wondered what to say. How to explain that his brother had essentially kidnapped me for my own protection. Before I could respond, another message came through. Luca has you, doesn't he? Yes, I'm sorry. I should have known the Rosses would make a move. Should have protected you better. It's not your fault. A long pause. Then stay safe. I'll fix this. But I wondered how. What power did Marco have compared to his brother? I set the phone down and walked to the windows. Looked out at the city. Millions of people living normal lives, going to normal jobs. Having normal problems. I'd never been so jealous, hungry. I turned. Luca had emerged from his office. He'd removed his jacket, rolled up his sleeves. For the first time, I saw the tattoos, dark ink winding up his forearms. Symbols I didn't recognize. Words in Italian. I'm fine. You haven't eaten since breakfast. At my look, he added, you're under my protection. I know everything. What you eat. When you sleep. Whether you're lying to me. I'm not hungry. He studied me. Then walked to the kitchen, sleek, modern, barely used, and started pulling things from the refrigerator. What are you doing? Making you eat. He set ingredients on the marble counter. Set. I said, and I'm not asking. He looked at me. Sit, Sophia. Or I'll call Marco and tell him you're being difficult. He'll worry. Neither of us wants that. I sat. I watched him work. It was strange, seeing someone so controlled in violence move with the same precision in cooking. He didn't measure anything. Just chopped vegetables with a knife that looked like it had done worse things than sliced tomatoes. Added pasta to boiling water. Created something that smelled like garlic and herbs and childhood memories I didn't know I had. You cook. I said. I survive. There's a difference. He plated the food, simple pasta with olive oil and vegetables. Set it in front of me. It was good. Better than good. Where did you learn this? My mother. Before. He poured himself wine. Didn't offer me any. She believed men should know how to take care of themselves. That depending on others was weakness. What happened to her? Cancer. Long and slow. The kind that gives you time to say goodbye. He took a drink, worse kind in some ways. Better than a bullet, but worse than not knowing. I'm sorry. Don't be. She'd hate your pity. He leaned against the counter. She was strong. Stronger than my father, though he'd never admit it. She ran the family before he did. Made all the decisions. He was just the face. Like you and Marco. Something flickered across his expression. Marco's not the face of anything. He's the illusion. The pretense that we're normal. And you. I'm what's real. He set down his glass. Finish eating. Then get some rest. Tomorrow we deal with the Rosses. How? My way. He left me alone in the kitchen. I heard his office door close. Then silence. I couldn't sleep. The guest room was comfortable. Too comfortable. The bed was enormous. The sheets were high, thread count softness that felt wrong against my skin. At 2 a.m., I gave up and wandered into the living room. Luca was standing at the windows, glass of wine in hand, staring out at the city like he was trying to memorize it. Can't sleep, he said without turning. How did you know I was here? I always know. He glanced back. Come here. I should have stayed where I was. Should have gone back to bed. Should have done anything except cross the room and stand beside him. But I did. What are you thinking about? I asked. How many ways this can go wrong? He took a sip of wine. How many people could die because my brother fell for the wrong woman? I'm not the wrong woman. You're not any woman. That's the problem. He finally looked at me. You don't belong in this world, Sophia. You're... He trailed off, searching for words. Clean. Untouched. The kind of person who reads Garcia Marquez on the subway and cries at endings. You don't know me? I know enough. He turned to face me fully. I know you're brave and stupid in equal measure. That you should have run the moment you saw blood but you stayed. That you let my brother hold your hand even though you know what his hands have done. What have yours done? The question hung between us. Dangerous. Electric. Worse, he said quietly. So much worse. We stood there. Too close, close enough that I could smell his cologne, something dark and woody. Could see the faint scar on his jaw. Could feel the heat radiating from him. I should go back to bed, I whispered less. Neither of us moved. Luca, don't. His jaw tightened. Don't say whatever you're about to say. Because if you do, everything changes. Maybe it already has. He closed his eyes, breathed out slowly. Go to bed, Sophia, while I still let you. This time I listened. But as I walked away, I felt his eyes on me. Heavy, wanting, dangerous, and knew that sleep would be impossible. Morning came with gunfire. Not actual gunfire. Just the sound of Luca's phone exploding with notifications. I heard him moving through the apartment. Heard his voice, low and lethal, speaking Italian that sounded like threats wrapped in silk. I got dressed. Yesterday's jeans and a sweater that suddenly felt too casual for whatever was about to happen. When I emerged, Luca was in the kitchen, still on the phone, He saw me and held up one finger. Wait, I waited. Capisco, he said. No. Tell Dante's widow she'll be compensated, generously. A pause. I don't care. Make it happen. He ended the call, looked at me. Coffee? What's happening? The Rossi family wants a meeting. Today, neutral ground. He poured 2 cups. Handed me one. Black, no sugar. They're claiming you're a witness. That Dante's death needs to be addressed. I didn't see anything. I know. They don't care. He leaned against the counter. This is about power. About whether the Calvettis can protect their own. I'm not. You are. The moment you walked into that gala with my brother, you became ours to protect. His eyes were dark, tired, like he hadn't slept either. The meeting is in 3 hours. You're coming with me. Is that safe? No. But keeping you hidden looks weak. Showing up together sends a message. He took a drink of coffee. We're something nice. Not too nice. We're showing strength, not seduction. I don't have anything nice. I packed for a week in hiding, not a mob meeting. Something almost like amusement flickered across his face. Check the guest room closet. I did. Found it full of clothes. Women's clothes. All in my size. When I came back out, he was reading something on his phone. Didn't look up. Whose clothes are these? Yours now. Luca. I had them delivered this morning. You're under my protection. That means you're presentable. He glanced at me. The gray dress. Elegant but professional. Shows you're not afraid but not stupid either. You think of everything. I have to. He set down his phone. In this world, details are the difference between living and dying. The gray dress fit perfectly. Probably cost more than my monthly rent. I paired it with low heels, also mysteriously provided, and minimal jewelry. When I came out, Luca was in a charcoal suit. Dark shirt, no tie. He looked like violence dressed up as elegance. Better, he said. Ready. Good. Fear keeps you sharp. He handed me a small phone. Emergency contact, 1 button. Hits me, Marco, and my security team simultaneously. Don't use it unless you're dying. Comforting. I'm not here to comfort you. I'm here to keep you alive. He opened the door. Stay close. Don't speak unless I tell you to, and if shooting starts, get behind me. Stay behind me. The meeting was in a restaurant I'd passed 100 times but never entered. The kind of place with white tablecloths and waitstaff who could spot tourists from 3 blocks away. Today it was empty. Closed for private event. Luca's hand pressed against the small of my back as we entered. Not gentle. Guiding, claiming. The Rossi family was already seated. 4 men, 1 woman. All dressed in dark colors. All wearing expressions that could have been carved from stone. The man at the head of the table stood. Older, gray at the temples. Dangerous in the way expensive things are dangerous. Polished but deadly. Luca. Thank you for coming. Matteo. Luca's voice was neutral. You wanted to talk, we're talking. Matteo's eyes slid to me. Assessed. Dismissed. And you brought the girl. Sophia Reyes. She's under my protection. So we've heard. Matteo gestured to the empty seats. Please sit. Luca pulled out my chair. I sat. He remained standing, one hand on the back of my chair. A clear message. Through me to get to her. You understand our concern, Matteo said. Dante was killed in a public space. There were witnesses, complications. Dante betrayed both our families. Luca replied. His death was justified. Perhaps. But the optics. Matteo shrugged. This young woman saw things. Knows things, that creates problems. She saw nothing. Knows nothing. Luca's voice hardened. And she's mine to handle. She. The woman spoke. Younger than Matteo but with the same dangerous elegance. Or is she your brother's? Silence stretched. Both. Luca said finally. And neither. She's Calvetti. That's all you need to know. Matteo smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. We're prepared to accept that. For a price. Name it. The shipping routes through the port. The ones Dante was managing before his unfortunate end. We want equal access. Those routes belong to my family. Belonged to both families. Your father and mine had an agreement. Dante's death doesn't erase that. Luca was quiet. I felt the tension in his hand on my chair. Felt the calculations happening behind his eyes. 60-40 split. He said finally. Calvetti majority. 50-50. Equal partnership. 55-45. Final offer. Matteo studied him then nodded. Acceptable. The girl goes free. No retaliation. No accidents? Agreed? Your word, you have it? They shook hands. Business concluded. But as we left, the woman, Matteo's daughter I'd learn later, caught my arm. Be careful, Sophia Reyes, she whispered. Men like Luca Calvetti don't protect anyone for free. Eventually he'll collect. Then she was gone. We drove in silence for 10 minutes before I spoke. You just gave up part of your family's business. Yes. For me. Yes. He didn't look at me. Just watched the road. Worth it though. You're alive, that's what matters. Why? Because Marco would never forgive me if you died. That's not why. He was quiet for a long moment, then pulled the car over. Sudden. Decisive. We were in an empty parking lot behind a building I didn't recognize. You want the truth? He turned to face me. Fine, here it is. I've spent 5 years building walls. Making myself into something cold enough to run this family. Killing parts of myself so I could be what they needed. And then you walked into that ballroom, and for the first time in half a decade I felt something. Luca, let me finish. His voice was raw, stripped bare. I felt anger. Because Marco found you first, jealousy. Because you looked at him the way I'd forgotten people could look at anyone. And fear. Real fear. Because I knew the moment I saw you that you'd break everything I'd built. I don't understand. You're not supposed to. He reached out, traced the line in my jaw with one finger. The touch was feather light, devastating. You're supposed to be with Marco, the good brother, the one who smiles, The one who isn't broken. And if I don't want the good brother, his hand stilled. Then you're stupider than I thought. Or braver. There's no difference. Not with me. But he didn't pull away. His thumb brushed my cheekbone. I'm not good for you, Sophia. I'll destroy everything you touch. Everyone you love, that's what I do. Then why are you touching me? He closed his eyes, breathed out slowly. Because I'm selfish. And weak. And you're the first thing I've wanted for myself in 5 years. Then he kissed me, not soft, not gentle. Hard and desperate and full of years of wanting things he couldn't have. I kissed him back. We broke apart gasping. His forehead pressed against mine. This is wrong. He whispered. I know. Marco. I know. But neither of us moved. And in that moment I understood I'd made my choice. Not the right one. But mine. Marco was waiting at the penthouse when we returned. I saw him through the windows as Luca parked. Saw him pacing. Phone to his ear. The agitation clear even from the street. He knows. I said. Luca's jaw tightened. Probably. What do we tell him? The truth. He killed the engine. I don't lie to my brother. Luca, come on. We took the elevator in silence. I could still taste him. Still feel the ghost of his hands on my face. Could still hear him saying, you're the first thing I've wanted for myself in 5 years. The elevator doors opened. Marco was there. Waiting. His expression when he saw us together, saw how close we were standing. The way Luca's hand hovered near my back, was devastation wrapped in fury. Tell me I'm wrong, he said quietly. Tell me what I'm thinking isn't true. Luca stepped forward. Don't. Marco's voice cracked.
Don't you dare, not you. Anyone but you.
It's not what? Not what it looks like? Marco laughed bitter. Broken. I know that look on your face, Luca. Haven't seen it in years. Thought you'd forgotten how to feel anything. But here you are, feeling, for her. I'm sorry. You're sorry. Marco turned to me. And you? What's your excuse? I didn't mean for this to happen. That's what they all say, isn't it? He was shaking. I brought you into this world. I'm the one who wanted you. Who tried to be normal for you, and you chose him. The one who'll never love you back because he's incapable of it. Marco, that's not fair. I started. Fair. He rounded on me. Fair would have been you telling me 3 days ago that you weren't interested. Fair would have been Luca keeping his hands to himself for once in his goddamn life. Fair would have been. Enough. Luca's voice cut through the room. Be angry at me. Hate me. That's fine. But don't take it out on her. Why not? She made a choice. A stupid, destructive choice. Marco's eyes blazed. You know what he is, right? What he's done. He's killed people, Sophia, dozens, maybe hundreds. He's the monster the rest of us hide behind. I know. And you want him anyway. I couldn't answer. Couldn't lie. Unbelievable. Marco grabbed his jacket. You deserve each other. The girl who's too stupid to run and the man who destroys everything he touches. Don't leave like this, Luca said. Watch me. Marco headed for the door. Stopped. Turned back. She'll be dead within a year. You know that, right? Everyone close to you dies. Mom. Dad. Every woman you've ever cared about. That's your curse, Luca. And now it's hers too. The door slammed. Silence crashed down. I stood frozen. Luca's face was carefully blank. He's wrong, I said. His right. Luca moved to the bar. Poured himself whiskey with hands that didn't quite shake. Everyone close to me dies. That's not metaphor. It's statistics. Luca, my last girlfriend, was killed by the Vidal family. Retaliation for a deal I made. They put a bomb in her car. He drank. My college roommate got caught in crossfire during a territory dispute. My best friend from childhood was executed because someone thought he knew too much. Another drink. Marco's right. I'm a curse. Stop it. You should go. Back to your apartment, your normal life. Before it's too late. I'm not leaving. Sophia? No. I crossed the room, took the glass from his hand. I made my choice. I'm staying. You don't know what you're choosing. Then show me. I set down the glass. Show me everything. The violence, the darkness, all of it. And let me decide. He looked at me for a long moment. Something shifting behind his eyes. You want to see? His voice was quiet, dangerous. Fine, come with me. He took me to a warehouse in a part of the city I'd never been. Industrial, empty. The kind of place where screams wouldn't matter. Inside, 2 men were tied to chairs. I stopped, every instinct screaming to run. These men work for the Torino family, Luca said. His voice had changed. Colder, emptier. They've been stealing from my shipments. Selling information to our competitors. Threatening my people. One of the men looked up. Saw me, his eyes widened. Please, he started. Luca backhanded him. Casual, efficient. The man's head snapped back. Don't speak to her. Luca pulled out a gun. Checked it methodically. You wanted to see what I am.
Sophia, watch. Luca, you don't have to. Yes!
I do. He looked at me. This is what keeps you safe. What keeps everyone in my family safe. Violence. Swift and certain. He raised the gun. Wait. The word ripped out of me. He paused. Don't kill them because of me. If you're gonna do this, do it because you have to. Not to prove a point. Something flickered in his expression. You think I need to prove anything? I think you're testing me. Trying to scare me away. Is it working? I looked at the men. Terrified, bleeding. Then at Luca. At the gun steady in his hand. No. He stared at me. Then lowered the gun. Get them out of here, he said to the men waiting in the shadows. Drop them outside Torino territory with a message. Next time, I won't be interrupted. The men were dragged away, still whimpering, still alive. Luca turned to me. Happy? No. But I understand. You don't. He holstered the gun. You can't. You showed Marast. 'Cause I showed weakness. That'll cost me. He walked toward the exit. Let's go. We drove back in silence, the city lights blurred past. Rain had started again. Your father, I said finally. How did he die? Luca's hands tightened on the wheel. Betrayed by someone he trusted, shot in home. Did you find who did it? Less. And I killed them. All of them slowly. His voice was flat. That's when I became what I am. The day I realized trust was a luxury we couldn't afford. Is that why you push everyone away? It's why I keep everyone alive. We pulled up to the penthouse, sat in the car. Rain drumming on the roof. Marco will forgive you. I said, eventually. Maybe. He looked at me. But I won't forgive myself. I took the one thing he wanted, the one good thing, and I'll destroy it. That's what I do. What if you don't? Then I'll be surprised. He reached out, cupped my face. But I'm willing to try. For you. I leaned into his touch. That's all I'm asking. We went upstairs together, and knew that everything, absolutely everything, had changed. 3 days later, they came for me. I was alone. Luca had a meeting across town, something about territory disputes that I didn't fully understand. He'd left 2 guards outside the penthouse, told me to stay inside, lock the doors. I'd followed most of those instructions. The knock came at 3 in the afternoon. Polite, professional. I looked through the peephole, saw a woman in a delivery uniform, package in hand. Delivery for Sofia Reyes, she called. I didn't open the door. Leave it outside. I said, I need a signature. Leave it. Silence. Then, suit yourself. I heard footsteps retreating, waited 5 minutes, looked through the peephole again. Empty hallway. Package sitting on the floor. I cracked the door. That's when they moved. The delivery woman wasn't alone. 2 men appeared from the stairwell. Professional, fast. One hand over my mouth before I could scream. I fought. Bit down hard on the hand covering my mouth. Tasted blood. Someone cursed. Then pain exploded in my temple. Everything went dark. I woke in a basement, concrete floor. Single bulb. Smell of mildew and old blood. My hands were zip-tied behind me. My head throbbed where they'd hit me. The delivery woman sat across from me. Not a woman, I could see that now. Too many hard edges. Too much violence in the eyes. She's awake, she called. Footsteps on stairs. A man descended. Older, expensive suit. Face I didn't recognize. Sofia Reyes. He pulled up a chair. Do you know who I am? I shook my head. Vincent Torino. The men Luca spared. They're mine. He smiled. He showed you mercy. Now you'll show me answers? I don't know anything. Wrong answer. He nodded to the woman. Pain exploded in my ribs. I gasped. Curl forward. Let's try again. What does Luca Cavetti know about our operations? Nothing. I'm not part of his business. But you're in his bed. That makes you part of everything. Another nod. Another blow. This time my face. I tasted blood. Stop. I gasped. Please, tell me what I want to know and I will. I can't tell you what I don't know. Vincent sighed. Unfortunate. For you. He stood. Started toward the stairs. Wet. I said, what do you want? Really? He paused. I want Luca Calvetti to understand that mercy is weakness. That sparing my men was a mistake. That everything he loves can be taken. I'm not. You are. Whether you know it or not. He smiled. Don't worry. I won't kill you. That would be too quick. Too clean. I'll just make sure he finds you. Broken enough to remember. The door at the top of the stairs closed. The woman stayed. Pulled out a knife. Nothing personal, she said. I don't know how long it lasted. Pain has a way of stretching time. Making seconds feel like hours. But I didn't break. Didn't tell them anything. Partly because I didn't know anything. Partly because I'd be damned if I'd give Vincent Torino the satisfaction. When they finally stopped, I was barely conscious. Bleeding. Ribs definitely cracked. Face swelling. The woman checked her phone. He's here. Footsteps upstairs, shouting. Then gunfire. The basement door exploded inward. Luca came through like violence incarnate. 2 shots. The delivery woman went down. The other guard didn't even have time to raise his weapon. Then Luca was in front of me. Eyes wild. Hands shaking as he cut the zip ties. Sofia. His voice cracked. Sofia, can you hear me? I nodded, tried to speak. Couldn't. He gathered me up, careful of my injuries, carried me up the stairs. The house above was a war zone, bodies. Blood on expensive carpet. Luca's men were securing the perimeter. He barked orders in Italian I didn't understand. Then we were in a car, moving fast. Hospital. I managed. No. Too many questions. He pressed something soft against the worst of the bleeding. Private doctor. Someone who knows not to talk. I drifted. Pain and shock making everything fuzzy, but I heard him. Soft words in Italian. A prayer maybe. Or a promise. The doctor's office was in someone's house. Expensive neighborhood. Discreet. The doctor, an older man with kind eyes and steady hands, examined me without judgment. Set my ribs. Stitched the worst cuts. Gave me something for the pain that made the world go soft and distant. She'll heal, he told Luca, but she needs rest. And no more violence. I know. Do you? The doctor's tone was sharp. Because this is the 3rd person you've brought me in as many months. All beaten. All terrorized. All because of you. Luca didn't answer. The doctor sighed. Take her home. Keep her still. I'll check on her tomorrow. Back at the penthouse, Luca carried me to his bed. Not the guest room. His room. Dark sheets. Minimal furniture. Windows that showed the city spread out like stars. He set me down like I was made of glass. I'm sorry. His voice was broken. I should have had more guards. Should have known they'd come for you. Should have. Luca. I reached for his hand. Winced at the movement. Stop. I can't. This is my fault. All of it. Marco was right. Everyone close to me dies and I couldn't protect you. I'm alive. Barely. He pulled away. Paced. Vincent Torino is dead. His entire organization. I burned it all down. But it doesn't matter. Tomorrow there'll be someone else. Another threat? Another? Come here? He looked at me. Please. He came, sat on the edge of the bed, careful not to jostle me. I took his hand, pressed it against my cheek, felt him trembling. You found me, I said. You saved me. I almost lost you. You didn't. I turned my head, kissed his palm. I'm here, we're here, that's what matters. Sophia, I love you. The words came out simple. True, I don't know when it happened. Maybe that first night. Maybe in your car. Maybe when you showed me who you really are. But I love you, Luca Calvetti. All of you. The violence and the vulnerability and everything in between. He closed his eyes. A single tear tracked down his face. I'm not care. You should. Too late. I pulled him closer, until our foreheads touched. I'm yours for however long we have. That's not. His voice broke. I can't promise you forever. Can't promise you safety. Can't promise you anything except that I'll burn the world down to keep you alive. Then burn it. I kissed him, soft, gentle, full of everything I couldn't say. I'm not going anywhere. He kissed me back, desperate, careful of my injuries, like I was something precious he was terrified to break. I love you, he whispered against my mouth. God help me, I love you. We stayed like that, holding each other, while the city glittered below and the world spun on and everything we'd built teetered on the edge of destruction. But in that moment we had each other. And that was enough. I healed slowly. Luca barely left my side. Worked from his bedroom. Took meetings on his phone while sitting in the chair next to the bed. Brought me food I barely touched and medicine that made the pain bearable. Marco didn't visit. I asked about him once. Luca's expression had gone carefully blank. His handling things, he'd said. Giving us space. He hates me, there's a difference. But I could see it wearing on him. The rift between brothers. The way Luca would stare at his phone sometimes, fingers hovering over Marco's contact before setting it down without calling. Family, I was learning, was both armor and blade. 2 weeks after the kidnapping I was well enough to walk. To shower by myself. To insist on leaving the bedroom. Luca fought me on it, lost. I found him in his office. Dark wood, floor, tip-ceiling bookshelves. A desk that looked like it had witnessed a century of secrets. You're supposed to be resting, he said without looking up from his laptop. I've rested enough. I sat in the chair across from him. We need to talk. About what happens now. He closed the laptop, gave me his full attention. You heal. I handle Vincent Torino's remnants. Life goes on. That's not what I mean. He knew. I could see it in his eyes. You want to go home, he said. I want to know if there is a home. With you. I leaned forward. You've kept me safe. Protected me. But you haven't told me what we are. What this is. This is. He stopped. Started again. This is me being selfish. Keeping you close when I should let you go. I don't want to go. You should. You're healed enough. The Torino threat is neutralized. You could go back to your apartment, your job, your normal life. And you. I'd watch from a distance. Make sure you're safe. That no one else comes for you. Like a ghost. Like someone who loves you enough to let you go. His voice was quiet. Raw. That's what this is, Sophia. Me finally being unselfish for once in my goddamn life. I stood. Walked around the desk. Stood between him and the window. What if I don't want unselfish? What if I want you? The real you. The one who burns down empires and shows mercy when I ask and holds me like I'm the only thing keeping him human. That man will get you killed. Maybe. Or maybe he'll keep me more alive than I've ever been. He pulled me closer. Hands on my hips. Forehead against my stomach. I've never wanted anything the way I want you, he whispered. It terrifies me. Good. Be terrified. Be selfish. Be whatever you need to be. I ran my fingers through his hair. Just be it with me. He looked up. Those dark eyes finally vulnerable. If you stay, there's no going back. You'll be Calvetti. In every way that matters, the danger, the violence, the family politics, all of it. I know. And you'll have to accept what I am. What I do. The blood already have. Marco might never forgive us. I know that too. He stood, pulled me fully against him. Then stay. Be mine. Let me be yours. Yes. This time when he kissed me, it wasn't desperate or careful. It was claiming. Promising. The kind of kiss that rewrote futures and burned bridges and made the world narrow down to just us. He lifted me. Set me on the desk. Stood between my knees. Tell me if I hurt you. He murmured against my mouth. But I was wrong. Not physically. He was careful, gentle, reverent. But as he undressed me slowly, kissing every bruise, every healing cut, I understood that this was a different kind of hurt. The kind that comes from giving everything. From trusting someone with pieces of yourself you didn't know existed. From loving someone who'd warned you from the beginning that he destroys everything he touches. And choosing him anyway. Later, tangled in sheets that smelled like him, I traced the tattoos on his arm. What do they mean? I asked. Off what? Mistakes, victories, people I've lost. He caught my hand. Pressed a kiss to my palm. There's room for one more. For me? If you want. What would it say? He was quiet for a long moment. Sophia, the girl who wasn't afraid. I was afraid, am afraid. But you stayed anyway. That's braver than not feeling fear at all. He pulled me closer. Will you let me? Put my name on your skin. Keep you, permanently, publicly. Let everyone know you're mine. I thought about what that meant. About becoming part of this world. This family, this man. Yes, I said. But on one condition. Name it. You talk to Marco. Really talk. Fix what's broken between you. His expression shifted. That's not. It is. You love him. He loves you, and I'm not gonna be the reason you destroy each other. I sat up, held his face in my hands. Fix it, Luca, or we'll never work. He closed his eyes, nodded, okay. Marco came 2 days later. I heard them in the office. Voices raised, then quiet, then something that might have been crying. When the door opened, both brothers emerged, red-eyed, exhausted. But something had shifted. Marco looked at me. I don't forgive you. Not yet, I know. But Luca loves you, and I love Luca. So I'm gonna try. That's all I'm asking. He nodded. Looked at his brother. Don't fuck this up. I'll try not to. You always say that, you always do anyway. But Marco's tone was softer, almost fond. Take care of each other. Then he left. Luca came to me, pulled me into his arms. Thank you? He whispered. For what? For not letting me hide. He kissed the top of my head. For staying. I held him tighter. Always, and meant it. Even knowing what always meant in his world. Even knowing that the danger would never truly end. Even knowing that loving Luca Calvetti was signing up for a lifetime of violence and vulnerability and fear. Because it also meant a lifetime of him. And that was worth everything. The attack came 3 months later. We'd been careful. Luca had restructured security, moved safe houses, eliminated threats before they could materialize. But careful only goes so far when you're dealing with people who have nothing to lose. The Vital family had been quiet since Luca's girlfriend died, biding time, building alliances, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. They found it at Marco's engagement party. Yes, Marco. Who'd met someone, Elena, a doctor who somehow saw past the violence to the man underneath. Who'd proposed quietly, privately, with Luca and me as the only witnesses. The party was small, family only, held at the Calvetti estate, a mansion on the outskirts of the city that had been in the family for generations. I wore the gray dress from that first meeting with the Rosses. Luca wore black, always black. Marco was radiant. Elena was beautiful. Everything felt almost normal. Then the lights went out. Down. Luca shoved me under the table as gunfire erupted. Chaos. Screaming. The sound of bodies hitting the floor. Luca's gun was in his hand instantly. He returned fire, precise, controlled, while keeping his body between me and the shooters. Stay down. He ordered Luca. Stay. I did. Pressed myself against the floor, heard Marco shouting. Elena crying. More gunshots. Then Luca was being pulled away. 3 men, professionals, wearing tactical gear, dragged him toward the door. No, I lunged forward. One of them backhanded me. I tasted blood again. But I grabbed his ankle, bit down, hard. He screamed. Kick me away. Luca used the distraction, broke free. 2 shots. 2 men down. The third raised his gun at Luca's head. I didn't think. Just moved, threw myself between them. The gun went off. Everything went silent. I looked down, expected to see blood. Saw nothing. The man crumpled. Marco stood behind him, gun smoking. Sophia. Luca's hands were on me, checking for injuries. Are you hit? Oh, I'm fine. You jumped in front of a gun. His voice was shaking. You could have died. So could you. He pulled me against him, held me so tight I could barely breathe. Around us, the chaos was settling. Luca's men had secured the perimeter. The Vital attackers were dead or fleeing. But the price was high. 3 family members dead, 5 injured. Elena had been grazed by a bullet. Marco held her while the doctor, the same one who treated me, worked. This is my fault, I said. They came because of me. Because I'm a weakness. No. Luca turned me to face him. They came because they're desperate. Because we've been winning. Because you make me stronger, not weaker. People died. People die in this life. That's the cost. His expression was fierce. But you lived. You're here. That's all that matters. Luca, listen to me. He cupped my face. Every day with you is a gift I don't deserve. Every moment is borrowed time. But I'm not giving it back. Not giving you up. Not for anything. Even if it means more attacks. More death. Even then. He kissed me hard. Desperate. You're mine. I'm yours. That's the only truth that matters. The aftermath took weeks. The Vadel family was destroyed completely. Luca showed no mercy. No hesitation. I should have been horrified. Should have run. Instead, I understood. This was his world. His rules. And if I was going to be part of it, I needed to accept all of it. Marco and Elena postponed the wedding. She'd been shaken by the violence. Needed time to decide if she could live with it. I hope she stays. I told Marco one afternoon. We were having coffee and tentative peace between us. Not quite friendship, but getting there. You deserve happiness. So do you. With my brother. I'm still angry. Still hurt. But I see how you are together, how you've changed him. I haven't. Oh, you have. He smiles now, laughs. Last week I caught him humming. Marco's expression was wry. Luca, humming. I didn't know he remembered how. He's still the same man? No. He's better, you make him better. Marco reached across the table. Squeezed my hand. Thank you. For loving him. For staying when everyone else runs. He's worth it. Yeah, he is. 6 months after the engagement party attack, Luca took me to a tattoo parlor. You ready? He asked. I looked at the design. My name in elegant script. Placed over his heart. Yes. I held his hand while the artist worked. Watched him breathe through the pain. Saw the moment my name became permanent on his skin. When it was done, he looked at me. Your turn. What? He handed me a design, his name. Small, delicate. On my wrist. You don't have to, he said. I know it's different for you. This life. But if you want to, yes, I didn't hesitate. Yes. So the artist worked on me too. Luca holding my other hand. Anchoring me. When we left, we were marked, claimed, permanently bound. No going back now, he said. Never wanted to. We were married a month later. Small ceremony. Just family. No white dress or big celebration. Just vows spoken in the same estate where we'd been attacked. A reclaiming of space. A promise. Marco was Luca's best man. Elena, who decided to stay to fight for the love she'd found, was my maid of honor. The ceremony was simple, traditional, beautiful. But the vows weren't. I promised to love you through the violence and the peace, I said. Through the danger and the safety. Through every choice that got us here and every consequence that follows. I promise to stay. Even when it's hard. Even when it's terrifying. Even when the world tells me to run. Luca's eyes were wet. I promise to protect you, he said. To put you first. To be worthy of the gift you've given me. I promise to never take you for granted. To remember that every day with you is more than I deserve. And I promise that whatever darkness comes, I'll face it with you always. We kissed. Husband and wife. Bound by more than love. By choice, by sacrifice. By the understanding that we'd chosen the hard path together. That night in bed I traced his tattoo. My name over his heart. Do you regret it? I asked. Any of it. Not a second. He pulled me closer. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. Even with all the complications. Especially with them. He kissed my temple. You make me want to be better. To build something that lasts. To leave a legacy that isn't just blood and violence. We will. You sound certain. I am. I looked up at him. Because we have each other, and that's enough to change everything. He smiled. That rare, beautiful smile that only I got to see. I love you, Mrs. Calvetti. I love you too. And as we drifted to sleep, I knew the truth. This life would never be easy. Never be safe. The danger would always be there, lurking at the edges. But I'd chosen it, chosen him, and I'd choose it again. Every single time. Because love, real love, isn't about finding someone perfect. It's about finding someone worth fighting for. Worth the fear. Worth the sacrifice. Worth everything. And Luca Calvetti was worth it all.